Welcome, rare gems. Quiet strength doesn't need decoration. It reveals itself through discipline. Sigma females understand something most people overlook. Life isn't about constantly proving your worth to the world. It's about building a life that actually makes sense to you, not one that just looks good from the outside. And that's exactly why they don't live above their means. They don't fall for the pressure to appear rich while secretly drowning in debt. They're not impressed by flashy trends or temporary luxuries. What matters to them is peace of mind, not public applause. They don't spend to compete. They spend with purpose. That kind of financial clarity doesn't come from luck. It comes from a lot of inner work, from being brutally honest with themselves, and from learning that needing less often means living more. When you know who you are, you stop needing to dress it up in expensive disguises. A Sigma female would rather own her life quietly than rent someone else's dream loudly. She knows freedom isn't about having everything. It's about not being tied to things that drain you. And money is just one more tool in her toolkit. It doesn't control her, she controls it. So if you've ever felt like you don't fit into the world of overspending and overcompensating, maybe that's not a flaw. Maybe that's the sign that you're thinking like a Sigma. And in today's world, that mindset isn't just rare, it's powerful. Keep it, honor it. That's where the real strength lives. Let's dive in deeper and discuss 12 reasons why Sigma females don't live above their means. Number 1, they are financially intimate with themselves. Let's be real. Most people avoid looking at their bank account until it's too late. They swipe, spend, guess, and hope it all somehow works out. But Sigma females, they're wired differently. They don't leave their money on autopilot. They are fully present in the way they earn it, spend it, and grow it. Every dollar has a purpose. Every expense gets a second thought. Being financially intimate means they know their numbers like they know their boundaries. They don't just budget to survive, they budget to build. They plan ahead not because they're scared of going broke, but because they understand the value of control. They know what they can afford, what they're willing to sacrifice, and what they're building towards. Think about it. How many people do you know who treat their money like a ghost? It comes in, it disappears, and no one knows where it went. But a Sigma female will look her spending habits in the face. If she overspent, she'll fix it. If she needs to adjust, she won't complain. She'll recalibrate. No excuses, just clarity. She doesn't chase trends. She invests in things that match her goals. If that means skipping out on dinners that don't align with her values or saying no to trips that offer more stress than joy, she will. Not because she's stingy, but because she's intentional. Money isn't about emotion for her. She doesn't buy to feel better. She doesn't spend to impress anyone. She's not swayed by impulse. She's focused on impact. She might not talk about it much, but behind closed doors, she's strategizing. She has accounts for emergencies, goals, and freedom. She's not waiting for someone to rescue her financially. She's already doing it herself. And that's the power of being financially intimate. You don't just survive. You rise, quietly, smartly, and on your own terms. Number 2, they don't measure success with luxury. For Sigma females, success has nothing to do with how shiny your life looks from the outside. It's not about driving the most expensive car or flashing a designer bag. Those things don't impress them. In fact, they see right through that illusion. Because what looks like luxury to others can often be stress dressed up in gold. A Sigma female measures success in things you can't always post online. Things like waking up without anxiety, having time to read a book without checking the clock, being able to say no without guilt, having mental peace and space to think clearly. That's the kind of wealth she's chasing. She doesn't dream of living for weekends or waiting for holidays to breathe. She wants a life that doesn't need an escape plan. That kind of life takes discipline, not designer shoes. Let's say she's offered 2 jobs. One pays more but will drain her to the bone. The other pays less but gives her time to work on her personal projects or spend time with her loved ones. Most people would pick the money. The Sigma female will pick the peace, because she knows that real success isn't something you can always deposit in a bank. Sometimes it's how rested you feel when you go to bed at night. She's not allergic to nice things. She just doesn't let those things define her. If she enjoys luxury, it's on her terms, not to compete with anyone. She buys with intention, not insecurity. To her, true wealth means living life without pretending. It means having control over your schedule, your mind, and your energy. That's the lifestyle she's building. And if that means flying under the radar while quietly building her empire, so be it. Because in her world, success whispers. It does not need to shout. Number 3. They respect money because they understand power. Sigma females have a different relationship with money. They don't see it as a way to show off. They see it as a way to protect their peace. For them, money is not about impressing others. It is about building a life where they get to make the rules. That's why they treat it with respect. Not fear, not obsession. Respect. They know that every careless swipe of a card or every impulsive splurge is not just spending cash. It is spending time, energy, and future options. To a Sigma female, misusing money feels like giving up pieces of her freedom, and she doesn't play with that. Take this, for example. A lot of people chase high paychecks so they can keep up with luxury trends. A Sigma female might take that same income and break it down into long-term plays. She's not just thinking about next week. She's thinking about 5 years from now. Maybe she's putting it toward building a small business. Maybe she's investing it so her money works while she rests. Maybe she's stacking it to walk away from a job that no longer aligns with her values. That is power. She doesn't depend on money to define her worth, but she knows the freedom it brings when handled wisely. She doesn't see herself as above or beneath it. She sees herself in charge of it. She knows what it feels like to be trapped by financial stress, and she never wants to go back there. So when she makes decisions, she's not asking, will this make me look successful? She's asking, will this move me closer to the life I want? That's why she doesn't waste money on image. She builds with it, quietly, strategically, and with full awareness that money is not the goal. Freedom is. Money is just the key, and she knows exactly how to use it. Number 4. They have emotional control, not emotional spending. Sigma. Females don't run to their wallets when life hits hard. They don't swipe their emotions away with a cart full of things they don't need. When they're overwhelmed, hurt, or frustrated, they don't distract themselves with new shoes or late-night online shopping sprees. They do something most people avoid. They sit with their feelings. They face what's bothering them. They ask the hard questions. They take the time to figure out what they're really feeling instead of covering it up with quick fixes. That kind of emotional control takes serious inner strength, and it's one of the biggest reasons they don't fall into the trap of emotional spending. Let's say she's had a rough week. Maybe work drained her or someone close to her let her down. A lot of people in that situation would treat themselves to a day of retail therapy. But not a Sigma female. She'll go for a walk. She'll journal. She'll sit in silence and let the emotions pass. Then she'll get up and move forward, not weighed down by debt or regret, not using material things to pretend everything's fine. That doesn't mean she never spends on herself. It means her spending isn't driven by emotion. It's driven by intention. She doesn't let a bad mood mess with her bank account. She understands that spending to escape pain only delays the healing, and worse, it creates another problem to fix. Sigma females know that real comfort comes from emotional clarity, not another purchase. That's why they're so powerful. They don't just have control over their money, they have control over their minds. And in a world where everything is designed to make you react, that level of discipline isn't just rare. It's unstoppable. Number 5. They know temporary lifestyles lead to permanent regrets. Sigma females don't get caught up in chasing a life they can't afford. They don't stretch their wallets just to keep up with people who are silently struggling themselves. They've seen how easy it is to slip into a lifestyle that looks good for the moment, but leaves scars that take years to heal. The fake luxury, the unpaid bills, the constant pressure to maintain an image that doesn't match reality. They're not falling for that. They know that a high-maintenance life on a low budget is a setup for disappointment. It's a ticking time bomb wrapped in pretty packaging. You can drive the fancy car, wear the expensive clothes, and still cry yourself to sleep under the weight of debt. Sigma females don't need to learn that lesson the hard way. They see the rope before they're tangled in it. If they can't afford it, they walk away. Simple. No drama, no pretending. They don't care if someone judges them for not having the latest phone or skipping out on luxury brunches. What they care about is peace of mind. And peace doesn't come with payments you can't keep up with. They've watched others build a lifestyle based on appearances and then collapse under the weight of trying to maintain it. That's not ambition. That's self-destruction in slow motion. Sigma females build with patience. They're okay taking the long road if it means arriving with no regrets. They understand that real success takes time and consistency, not shortcuts dressed as success. They're not anti-luxury, they're just anti-fake. If they live well, it's because they earned it honestly, not because they borrowed it for a moment of validation. That's the difference. Because at the end of the day, they'd rather have a life that's real and sustainable than one that's flashy and fragile. Number 7, they don't rent a lifestyle, they craft a legacy. Sigma females don't live to impress, they live to build. There's a huge difference between showing off a lifestyle and actually owning one. And Sigma females know this too well. That's why they're not out here trying to keep up with appearances. They're not interested in renting a life that looks good but feels empty. What they want is something real, something lasting, something they can stand on, not just pose with. Living beyond their means doesn't make them feel powerful, it makes them feel trapped. To them, spending money they don't have to look successful is like putting on a mask and hoping no one sees through it. It's not exciting, it's exhausting, and they refuse to play that game. They'd rather plant roots, deep, slow-growing, solid ones. While others are busy buying now and worrying later, a Sigma female is quietly saving, investing, learning, and building a life that can stand the test of time. Her vision is long-term. Her goals aren't about next weekend. They're about next decade. Let's say she has 2 choices. A flashy apartment downtown that eats up most of her income, or a modest place that gives her breathing room to build her dreams. She'll take the second one without hesitation, because she knows the first is just noise, while the second is a foundation. Sigma females aren't allergic to comfort, they just want it on their own terms, not borrowed, not forced, not for the sake of likes or approval. They want the kind of life where every brick was laid with intention and every dollar spent has a reason behind it. Renting a lifestyle comes with silent pressure and fake satisfaction. Crafting a legacy comes with patience, clarity, and peace always wins in the end. Number 8. They see through financial theater. Sigma females aren't fooled by the glitter. They see the world for what it is, not what it pretends to be. So when they see someone dripping in designer brands, posing next to a car that's probably leased, and talking like a motivational speaker on speed, they don't feel envy. They feel curiosity, and maybe even concern. They know when someone's putting on a show. The luxury labels, the first-class tickets, the constant stream of look-at-me moments, it's all part of a performance. And Sigma females can spot the script from a mile away, because when you're grounded in reality, illusions lose their power. They've been around long enough to know that real wealth is often quiet. Real success doesn't need to dress up and parade around. That's why they don't care how shiny someone's life looks on the outside. They want to know what's behind the curtain. Is there stability there? Is there peace? Is there purpose? If the answer is no, then the rest doesn't matter. They understand the difference between owning something and being owned by it. That's why you won't see them breaking their backs to keep up with trends. They're not interested in impressing people who are probably just pretending too. Let's be honest. A lot of what people call success today is just debt with good lighting. Sigma females know this, and they refuse to participate in the act. They'd rather live simply and sleep well than live loudly and constantly worry about the next bill. They focus on what's real: freedom, stability, self-respect, things that don't need filters or brand names to matter. While others chase applause, they chase alignment, because they know financial theater may get attention, but it never builds a life that actually feels good to live. Number 9. They've already walked through the fire. Sigma females aren't disciplined just for the sake of it. That mindset was earned, not taught. Behind their calm confidence is a story, one that usually involves pain, pressure, and the kind of silence that forces you to grow up fast, whether it was financial hardship, emotional chaos, or simply being the one who had to hold everything together when no one else would. They've walked through the fire. And they didn't come out bitter. They came out sharp. That struggle changed the way they see the world. While some people romanticize risk, Sigma females remember what it feels like when things actually fall apart. They know what it's like to sit with an empty account and a full list of responsibilities. They know what it means to go without and still keep showing up. That experience gave them something most people never develop: emotional clarity and practical focus. They don't need to be flashy because they know what real struggle looks like. Reckless spending doesn't feel thrilling to them. It feels like danger. They've lived through enough of that already. Now every decision they make is rooted in something deeper. Survival turned into strategy. For example, someone else might blow their entire paycheck on a weekend trip to escape stress. A Sigma female will put that same money into a savings account, an investment, or a skill they can use later. Not because they're scared, because they've been there. They know better now. This is why they don't apologize for their boundaries or their choices. They've earned their discipline the hard way, and that fire, it didn't burn them out. It burned away everything fake. What's left is focus, resilience, and a quiet refusal to ever go back to the chaos they came from. That's not just strength, that's wisdom earned in the trenches. Number 10. They don't use money to patch insecurity. Sigma females don't dress their wounds with price tags. They don't need the latest outfit or flashy car to feel good about themselves. That's because they've already done the hard inner work, the kind that money can't buy. They've faced their insecurities head-on, wrestled with their past, and gotten real about who they are. So now they don't need material things to fill emotional gaps. Their worth isn't stitched into a brand label. It lives inside them. For most people, insecurity hides in plain sight. You'll see it in the constant upgrades, the showy purchases, the urge to be seen and complimented. But a Sigma female sees through all of that. She's not spending to be noticed. She's spending with purpose, not to perform. Let's say she pulls up in a simple older car. She's not embarrassed. She doesn't need the latest model to feel confident, because she knows who she is with or without a luxury badge on the front. Her identity isn't tied to how expensive her lifestyle looks. It's tied to how honest and secure she feels when she's alone. When she does buy something nice, it's because she genuinely wants it, not because she's trying to fix something inside. Her self-worth isn't fragile, it's solid. So her purchases come from a place of stability, not desperation, and that's rare. In a world where so many use money to mask what they haven't healed, the Sigma female stands out. She doesn't throw cash at self-doubt. She confronts it, transforms it, and walks forward with quiet strength. She doesn't need to scream her worth. She lives it. And that silent confidence, that's what makes her unforgettable. Number 11. They know appearances are the cheapest form of deception. Sigma females don't fall for the highlight reel. They know how easy it is to look successful while quietly drowning behind the scenes. The truth is, in today's world, the loudest flex often hides the deepest struggle. The most broke people often look the richest. And Sigma females see that for what it is, a silent crisis that no one wants to talk about. They're not impressed by shiny things. They're not fooled by luxury that's funded by credit cards or curated for likes. They know how cheap it is to fake a lifestyle. Anyone can rent the look. Very few can afford the reality. That's why Sigma females live beneath the noise. They're not chasing status. They're chasing substance. They'd rather be low-key and financially solid than high-profile and living paycheck to paycheck. To them, looking rich while being broke inside, mentally, emotionally, or financially, isn't just a bad choice. It's dangerous. Think about it. Someone walks into a room with designer everything, talking big, spending big, but what you don't see is the debt, the stress, the nights they lie awake wondering how to keep up. That's not success. That's a performance. And Sigma females don't perform for anyone. They value real freedom, the kind that comes from peace of mind, not public approval. They're not trying to look wealthy. They're building real wealth, quietly, steadily, and without needing anyone's permission. So when the world claps for illusion, they stay silent and focused. Because they know that real power doesn't need a spotlight, it doesn't need validation, and it definitely doesn't come with a price tag. Sigma females don't fall for deception. They've seen behind the curtain, and they want no part in the act. Number 12. They can sit with delay. Sigma females have mastered one of the rarest and most powerful forms of discipline, the ability to wait. They don't crumble under pressure just because something is trending. They don't panic if they don't have what everyone else has right now. If they can't afford it today, they don't fake it or force it. They simply say, "Not yet," and keep moving. They understand that patience is not weakness, it's power. In a world addicted to instant gratification, their ability to pause, breathe, and wait is like a superpower. They don't fall for the urgency traps. They don't suffer from the "I need it now" mindset, because they know that rushing often leads to regret. This doesn't mean they don't want nice things. They do. But they want them at the right time, for the right reasons, and without strings attached. If it takes saving for a few more months or waiting until it truly makes sense, so be it. Their value isn't tied to how quickly they can acquire something. Let's say there's a new gadget, a luxury item, or a limited time offer that has everyone in a frenzy. While others are scrambling to buy it, a Sigma female calmly evaluates whether it aligns with her goals. If it doesn't, she passes. No fear of missing out, no anxiety, just clarity. Her ability to delay gratification comes from knowing who she is. Her self-worth doesn't expire if she doesn't have the latest trend. It's not shaken by what's in her closet or parked in her driveway. She trusts her timing, and that patience keeps her grounded while others burn out trying to keep up. Sigma females understand something most people ignore. Good things not only come to those who wait, they stay with those who didn't rush. In final words, freedom isn't found in what you show. It's found in what you can quietly walk away from. Sigma females live with a level of clarity that most people never reach. They don't spend to compete. They don't chase validation in the form of material things. And they definitely don't put themselves in financial chains just to look like they have it all together. Why? Because they've seen what's behind the curtain. They've watched people trade peace of mind for popularity, security for show, and purpose for appearances. And they've chosen a different path. Living within their means isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing the difference between what you want right now and what will still matter 5 years from now. Sigma females don't just think about the moment. They think about the bigger picture. Every choice they make is part of something deeper, something built to last. And if you're a Sigma female, or you feel like one, let this be your reminder. You're not behind. You're not missing out. You're building what others only pretend to have. While the world moves fast and loud, you move with depth and focus, and that makes you rare. Keep your values close. Keep your peace sacred. Your strength isn't in how much you show, it's in how much you understand. And when you know exactly who you are, you don't need to buy your way into anyone's approval. You already belong to a different kind of power, one that can't be bought, one that doesn't break. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.